This is Extinction Rebellion, South Australia. And welcome to day 2 of the men's race of the Festival of Cycling, proudly sponsored by Santos. Yes, your climate-wrecking local gas company trying to greenwash the clean sport of cycling. Extinction Rebellion is on the Echunga Road. We're not going to let Santos get away with trying to link itself to a clean, green sport, a clean, green form of transport. Santos is one of the most dangerous companies in the world. As the world scientists tell us how important it is to phase out the use of fossil fuels ASAP, Santos is doing exactly the opposite. It's ramping up its production of gas from multiple locations around Australia. Some of the biggest gas projects of all time in Australia are being planned and executed by this toxic company, Santos. And while they're doing that, they're trying to associate themselves with things that are environmentally friendly, like cycling. We love cycling. Many of us are cyclists, self-included. But Santos is not part of the cycling community as much as it would like to think that it is. Cyclists are really keenly aware of the issue of safety. So is Extinction Rebellion. Safety is so important to cyclists. It's so easy to kill a cyclist. We take safety very seriously. But does Santos? No, of course. Its safety involves spewing more and more fossil fuels into the atmosphere, fracking. Hello, conscientious protectors. You've got your mask on, that's good. I have to confess that I did not bring my mask. Oh, I have got a mask with me, but it's very hard to live stream with a mask on. My voice might be a bit more muffled if I did have one. I'm breathing the fresh air. I am a cyclist. I rode up here on my bike, my carbon fibre bike. I'm decked out in my Rafa kit. And I love cycling. I love to see cyclists. I love to cycle myself. Cycling is such a beautiful, invigorating sport. But I'm absolutely appalled that one of the world's most dangerous companies, Santos, is trying to associate itself with a sport that I love. Whereas I'm, like so many other cyclists, so concerned about my own safety and the safety of the planet, Santos is doing exactly the opposite. It's fracking the Beetaloo Basin, incidentally with subsidies from your federal government. You, the taxpayer, are helping Santos to get fracked gas to the surface, contaminating the water table, contaminating the land, and most of all, when their toxic gas is burned, contaminating the atmosphere. They're not concerned about safety, but we are. We're here making a point during the Festival of Cycling that Events SA can no longer associate itself with this toxic company. Would they accept sponsorship from a tobacco company? I think not. And a number of us are avid cyclists. Yes, just making that point myself. Tell us about what you're doing and why you're here.
Yeah, well, I've followed the Tour Down Under ever since this began in South Australia. And I've been increasingly concerned and dismayed at what is going on with this major cycling event. And I love cycling. I know these hills intimately. Being sponsored sponsored by Santos, a fossil fuel company that is destroying the planet. So the amount of greenwashing or sports washing, as they're now referring to, that's going on in the name of cycling is outrageous, and we have to do everything we can to stop that.
Thank you. Well done, well said. Yes, we have to stop it. Just for some perspective, the International Energy Agency, which basically speaks for the entire energy industry, including the fossil fuel companies, said last year that we have to stop new fossil fuel projects. Stop new ones. Don't take any more. I mean, you know, we should phase out the ones that are there now, but even the International Energy Agency says we should stop doing new ones. And what's Santos doing? Exactly the opposite. They're expanding. They're proud of it. They make announcements to the stock exchange about how they're going to expand their production of gas at exactly the time when we need to be phasing it out as rapidly as possible. Lena, why are you here today?
I'm here for children, and I'm here for South Australia. We're a renewable energy superpower in a clever country. We don't need solutions like coal and oil and gas. We've got the intelligence, we've got the commitment, we've got the people to make it work. We can leave this behind, and Santos is just conning everybody. Greenwashing, sports washing, trying to create a lovely feeling in people associated with a cycle race. It's dirty power, it's dirty energy, and we can do so much better in South Australia and in Australia, and we should. We should go for bold.
Love your mask.
Yeah, I'm a keen cyclist. I've been on a bike for 60 years, and I'm going to be on the bike for another 60. And it's offensive, this connection between cycling and dirty fossil fuels.
Yeah.
No place, no place.
Thank you. We're going to keep patrolling this side of the road because this is the route, or part of the route, for today's second leg of the Festival of Cycling race, men's race. The women's race concluded earlier this week. In case you're not up with cycling, they had 3 days of road racing for the women, and followed by a criterium around Victoria Park on Wednesday. And the men started with the criterium on Wednesday and 3 days of racing after that. Yesterday, today and tomorrow. I wonder how these athletes who spend so long preparing for this race feel about being, what's the word, abused? Are they used? Taken advantage of, perhaps, that their sport is being hijacked, that's the word I'm looking for, hijacked by a fossil fuel company, and with the cooperation of Events SA. Oh, we have some visitors. A police car has just turned up, only one. All right, well, we'll be happy to chat to the police officers. We have to get the message through to Events SA that they are poisoning their own reputation. They're poisoning the reputation of South Australia, and then most of all, they're poisoning the reputation of the cycling community by being associated with a Santoxic company. As I speak, it's 11:01 a.m. The race was due to start at 11 at Mount Lofty. They're off from Mount Lofty?
Please try turning into Ambleside now. There you go. Yep.
Okay, so the race is underway. That's today's stage of the race. And it may be some time, of course, before they come past Onachunga Road, where we are. But hopefully some of the cyclists, some of the support vehicles, and most importantly, I hope that some of the people from Events SA will see how little regard the South Australian community has for their choice of sponsor. Santos do a lot of greenwashing. Did you ever know a kid, or maybe an adult, who felt the need to buy friends, who had no friends, so thought that splashing a bit of money around might help, people like him or her? Well, Santos is a bit like that. They've got no friends because everyone knows that we have to phase out the use of fossil fuels. So they buy friends. They spend money on sponsorship like this. They sponsor things at the Adelaide Botanic Garden as well. How incongruous is that? That such a beautiful, clean, green site like the Adelaide Botanic Garden has sponsorship from a toxic fossil fuel company which is doing its best to worsen the climate crisis. In case you're not aware of what they're planning to do, in addition to all their existing projects, Santos has 3 huge new projects on the go. There's something called the Beetaloo Basin. I mean, forgive me if you know all about this stuff, but you know, the Beetaloo Basin is a great big area in the Northern Territory where Santos and a lot of other companies are going to, or planning to, extract an enormous amount of gas by fracking under a coal seam, using toxic chemicals in the water, and bring the gas to the surface. In addition to that, the absolutely enormous project in New South Wales, the Pilliga project, 850 wells across an enormous area of pristine forest, which incidentally is right next to the food bowl for most of Australia. If you have the time, please search for a video, half-hour video called the Pilliga Project, which will just blow your mind. 850 wells in just one part of Australia, with water being extracted from the Great Artesian Basin. In opposition, the Gomeroi people, the Indigenous people of that area, and fears for the safety and security of not just that region, but of the underground water resource, the Great Artesian Basin, that helps to produce most of the food, or a huge proportion of the food that's grown in Australia. So you needn't worry about that, unless of course you drink water or you eat food, in which case you should be very concerned. That's the Pilliga project. I mentioned the Beetaloo Basin, and then the absolutely enormous one, and possibly the most dangerous one. It's misleadingly named the Barossa project, but it's nothing to do with the Barossa Valley in South Australia. The Barossa project for Santos is a huge offshore LNG drilling program. I think from memory it's about 200k offshore from Darwin, north in the Timor Sea, and a pipeline to bring the LNG back to land. And as Santos likes to brag, this is going to boost their production by millions, tens of millions, if not hundreds. Well, I'm not going to quote figures here because I don't have figures in front of me, and the precise figures are not relevant for my purposes at the moment. The point is they're expanding. When the Earth needs to be phasing out the use of fossil fuels as rapidly as possible, Santos is doing the opposite. Good corporate citizen, you be the judge. Have you seen the movie Don't Look Up? It's on Netflix. It's been criticised as being a bit of a heavy-handed satire. A group of scientists try to tell the world that a planet-killing comet is on the way, but corporate interests make sure that nothing's done about it. I won't spoil the ending for you. It's been criticised as being a rather heavy-handed piece of satire. It's entertaining, funny, but the real planet killers are the fossil fuel companies who are still spewing their toxic product into the atmosphere, into the water, and trying to pretend that business as usual will be okay. Business as usual, it's what's killing the planet. Business as usual has to stop. Whoop. Stop singing.
The breakaways.
Love the sport. I don't actually think they're part of the race. Oh, well, it's all right. We can cheer them on. Yeah, we love cycling.
We love cycling.
Love cycling. We want to see cycling continue. We want to see cycling safe. And what's more important, on a safe planet. We're concerned about safety. Santos is not concerned about safety, and Events SA is not concerned about safety, or they would have nothing to do with such a dangerous company.
The threat of global warming is past the stage of warning. While rich on spoils of gas and oil, you think you could ride this through. Santos, we're here to expose your lies. All across Australia, the people are getting wise. Your greenwashing is obscene. It won't keep cycling clean. So take a hike, get on your bike. Protest is on the rise.
Woo-hoo. Great loud voices. Thank you, everyone. We're going to do it again, and we're going to keep doing it again. Santos knows we're watching them. We keep watching them. We keep exposing them. They keep making outlandish claims. The CEO of Santos said the other day, I couldn't believe this, there's no alternative to fossil fuels. Duh. He's probably never heard. No, I mean, he's just deliberately vague, deliberately blind. The chief executives of tobacco companies used to say that, tobacco was not harmful. I think they even used to say it was good for you. Here in South Australia, where we have such abundant renewable energy, there is solar, there is wind, other opportunities, geothermal, wave power, tidal power, hydroelectricity, you know it, batteries.
The threat of global warming is past the stage of warning. We're rich on spoils of gas and oil. You think you can ride this through? Santos, Santos, we're here to expose your lies. All across Australia, the people are getting wise. Your greenwashing is obscene. It won't keep cycling clean. So take a hike, get on your bike. Protest is on the rise.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, get on your bike, Santox. The police presence has doubled. We have 2 cars there now, but they're keeping a low profile.
The last one waved at us.
Yeah, well, there you go. Oh, or is a third one? That's lovely. We do like to see police joining in.
And Events SA.
And Events SA are here as well. Oh, look, we can shake their hands and personally ask them to find a better sponsor for next year's event. I hope they will take that on board. You might have noticed recently that Tennis Australia, that's been having such problems with publicity. We won't mention Novak Djokovic, but they have decided to clean up their act, and they've dumped Santos as a sponsor.
They've got out of their cars.
And, the police have got out of their cars, going to come over and have a chat to us. Good-o. That's fantastic. Now, look, just going behind the banner here, look at the those who are working hard. Don't get much glory kneeling down in the grass, do you? No, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Because that's a big banner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 poles to keep it up. And the Extinction Rebellion flags. But this is not about Extinction Rebellion. This is about every Australian, every citizen of the world, really, because we all share the planet. There is no planet B. You often hear that expression, don't you? Plan A, Plan B. It would appear that Santox has no Plan B. So many companies throughout the world are pivoting to a future without carbon emissions. Really, really encouraged to see so many vehicle manufacturers promising to move to entirely electric vehicle fleets. Some of the biggest car names in the world are switching entirely to electric vehicles, phasing out fossil fuel engines. Some of the smartest companies are pivoting so that instead of relying on fossil fuels, they're finding other ways to power their industries. But what is Santos's plan B? It doesn't have one. It's pursuing plan A relentlessly. More and more and more fossil fuels. Extracting gas, LNG from new projects. They're not the only ones, of course. There are others doing the same thing in other parts of Australia. But Santos is the sponsor of this event. And we are going to make sure that all of Australia is aware how inappropriate that is. How that has nothing to do with the safety of cycling and cyclists. In fact, it's doing the exact opposite. It's making cycling more dangerous. You know, when you're cycling, you're breathing in a lot of air. You'd like the air to be clean, wouldn't you? Santos is trying to make sure that the amount of carbon dioxide in the air does not fall. Can you believe that? That's their business plan. A couple of years ago, actually it was in 2017, the chair of Santos said they were working on the assumption that we were going to get to 4 degrees Celsius increase in global average temperatures. 4 degrees. The Paris Agreement said committed nations to working towards a limit of only 1.5 degrees. We're on track to exceed that already. We've failed. We're going to get to 2 degrees at least, which is really, really serious climate change. And what's Santos doing about that? Less than nothing. They're accelerating the problem. Their whole business model is on accelerating the problem. Why would the Vents SA want to associate itself with that? You hear the phrase social license a lot. You know, we give companies a social license to operate in terms of public acceptance of what you do. I mean, nobody complains about companies doing their everyday business. Everyone's entitled to make a buck. Everyone's entitled to go about their business peacefully, providing goods and services. Provided a few passing motorists giving us toots. Good. But your social license evaporates when your whole business model is based on making a crisis worse. That is their business model. They have no source of income other than making the climate crisis worse.
Enough of you. You're too toxic to sponsor the TDU. The threat of global warming is past the stage of warning. While ratios spoils of gas and oil, you think you can hide this through.
Hello. Hello. Permission to speak. Okay.
Santa.
Lovely. We've got
There's our police media liaison officer here. Had a chat to the police so they can check what we're doing and we can check in with them. They don't want any surprises. We don't want any surprises. We're all about safety.
Well, I'm not sure about that actually. I'm guessing so no problem. I think Chris mentioned at the meeting that we just say we're dealing with this, that we don't know. And with this, that,
Ooh. What does it say on your armpit?
It says,
I choose peaceful rebellion.
Yes.
All right, I didn't get that in shot. Now it's in shot. I choose peaceful rebellion. What a great armband. I wish I got. Can I get one of those? All right.
Yeah.
I've got my cycling gloves on. All right.
And this.
And tell the truth. These are Extinction Rebellion's 3 demands. You've got them very succinctly. They can be expressed more fully than that, but that summarises them beautifully. Tell the truth. We're in a climate crisis. Act now. Not next year, not by 2050, now. And beyond politics. That's just so crucial. Why should the climate crisis be subject to party politics and politicking and trying to shift blame? It should be beyond politics. It's a human survival, planet survival issue. Beautiful. Thank you, Dharma. Oh, now what have we got up here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 police officers conferring. What are we going to do with these Extinction Rebellion people? If anything. Should we just let them stand around on the side of the road? Well, why not? Well, I know a couple of days ago we had an Extinction Rebellion banner at the finish of one of the stages of the Women's Festival of Cycling, and Events SA people were not happy about having it associated with a finish line. They didn't want anything bad to be said about their sponsor, Santos. Not where anyone could see it. So here we are. We're not at the start line. We're not at the finish line. We're on the route. We're on the route between Harndorf and Echunga. That's an 8-kilometre stretch of road, and in a few moments we're told that the Festival of Cycling participants, the racers, the riders, will be coming from this direction, riding right past us and heading up the road in that direction and turning left onto Hawthorne Road. That's where they're coming and going, and they probably won't be that far away, but we're in position on the route and hoping to draw attention to the toxic nature of the relationship between Events SA and the sport of cycling.
Oh, here come the support vehicles. Here come the support vehicles. Make your banner shine.
Beautiful and clear, nice and quiet.
Support vehicles coming through, which means that the cyclists will be a little way behind them. Of course, every single support vehicle has a Santos logo on it, buying their way into people's minds, if not people's hearts. You can't buy your way out of the truth. The truth will get you in the end, and more people are realising that we have to move away from the use of fossil fuels, and that Santos is part of the problem. If you're a shareholder of Santos, how about raising it at their next annual general meeting? When are you going to move to a plan B? When are you going to stop investing in what will become stranded assets? When eventually, far too late, you realise that what you're doing is not sustainable for the planet, is not sustainable for life on this planet, is jeopardising not just the atmosphere, but the water, the land, the food bowl, the production of food in Australia. Don't you have a plan B? And if not, it's about time you got one. And the more sports bodies that reject the greenwashing, the closer that day will come when the dinosaurs who run Santos finally realise how little social licence they really do have. We're all about safety. The police are here to make sure that everyone's safe. The cyclists, the organisers, even us as Extinction Rebellion activists, rebels. The police are going to do their job to make sure everyone's safe, and so are we. Safety is our highest priority. Safety for everyone on site here today, and also for the future of us, our children, grandchildren.
On spoils of gas and oil, you think you can ride this through. Santos, Santos, we're here to expose your life. All across Australia, the people are getting wise. Years of sea, it won't keep cycling clean. So take a hike, get on your bike. Peace is on the rise. We're entertaining them.
We're providing entertainment for the police. Yes, 1, 2, 3. G'day, officers. Yep, got a little wave.
Cycling's better than that!
Cycling is indeed better than that. I love riding my bike. It's such a great way, you know, and it's not just, I mean, in the week of the Festival of Cycling, we get a bit head up about competitive cyclists and dressed in lycra and racing as fast as they can, but cycling's about much more than that. It's just a good way to get around. It's cheap, easy. In peak hour, you beat all the traffic anyway. Saves you money, and you're not burning fossil fuels while you're getting around. It is an ideal way to get around. And Santos is trying to contaminate that good effect, that positive image of cycling by associating it with fossil fuels. It's time for that to stop. Events SA, we hope you're listening. We hope you're watching. And if you're not, you'll hear about it, because Tennis Australia heard about it. Other companies are questioning their involvement with Santos. We hope the Botanic Gardens Board is questioning its relationship with Santos. There are lots of little sports organisations around Australia that are sponsored by Santos. They're probably not in a position to reject the money that Santos offers, because they love getting sponsorship, and you know, you can't blame them for wanting sponsorship. But buying your way into communities is a toxic way of doing business. Trying to hide the reality of what your company does by associating it with clean, green, human activity, human sport, human enjoyment. There's no real connection between getting fossil fuels out of the ground or out of the sea or out of wherever, and sport. We're moving the police on one side of the road, Extinction Rebellion on the other side of the road, and everybody's happy. So just have to be in position to get a look at the peloton as they come through, and hopefully get to see, we've got our bells. That's a cycling tradition, isn't it? You ring the bell.
It says sand toxic.
Sand toxic on your bell. They probably won't be able...
All of each other is strewn with Santos flags. You get free, so much money, rubbish.
Oh my God. We've decided to change the hats from Santos to Santoxic.
So yeah, they're recognition around this lovely country area, this lovely to see, and including messages of what a good company they are. You know, Greenfield, they're doing this, they're doing that. So this is not about cycling. It's about trying to convey misinformation to the public.
I think they call that greenwashing, Sarah.
Greenwashing, sports
Yes,
washing.
yes.
Yeah.
Sports washing. It's stunning how relentlessly that tactic is pursued. You know, if you've done any, investigation of the psychology of advertising, you don't actually need to say my product is good for X, Y, Z. You just have images of your product attached, to young, beautiful people doing lovely, happy things, and you make that association in your head. You keep saying the word Santos often enough in connection with cycling, and people just assume that Santos has something to do with cycling. That's because they've paid an enormous amount of money for you to get that perception. An enormous amount of money. And Events SA is helping that happen. Santos is losing its social licence. We hope that Events SA doesn't lose its social licence by allowing this, facilitating this. We have a lovely array of 4 police officers on one side of the road, 2 police cars just up the road. Oh, another car stopping here probably to wish us all the best. Large truck, I don't think that's part of the race. Just been told that Channel 9 is interested in what's happening here today. Well, hopefully they'll might be able to lift a little bit of the footage from this live stream. Oh, another police car. That makes 3. You can't have too many. Well, I guess you can. They might be doing other things that are helping to keep us safe. That's the good thing. On one side of the road we have police officers helping to keep us safe, and on this side of the road we have Extinction rebels trying to keep us safe from the toxic output of Santos. Who's in the middle? Events SA. They're the ones who accept the toxic money. Let's see if I can get a shot from the other side of the road. Just carefully walk over at a different angle. We set up here well before the race commenced. We're in a position where we could, if we wanted to, move into the road and block the race. As I said, we're most concerned about safety. Not that we can say the same for Santos, of course. Santos has no concern for the safety of the planet, for the safety of your children. Been told the peloton is going through Harndorf at the moment, and we are about 5 kilometres from Harndorf, 5 or 6. So they will be with us in 3 or 4 minutes. That's the peloton, I mean, the racers. So you'll see them whiz past in a few seconds. I mean, there'll be more than a few seconds getting here, but when they do get here, you won't see them for very long, because top-level cyclists move at stunning speed. We are on a little bit of a rise here, so that'll slow them down perhaps from 50 kilometres an hour to 40 kilometres an hour. Just think of the incredible effort, the amount of training that's gone into their preparation for a race like this and other races. As a cyclist myself, I've got some appreciation of how dedicated, how intense their training regime is. 2 riders have broken away from the peloton, so we'll see 2 out in the lead first as they come past. I don't think he was one of them. They put so much into their sport to reach the pinnacle of their sport, and then their efforts are forever associated with a fossil fuel company. I wonder how they feel about that. Why should their efforts be subject? Why should their efforts be subject to association with one of the most dangerous companies on the planet? Love to know how they feel about that. Some might be comfortable with it. I bet a fair few would not be. You just saw a whole lot of police vehicles go past, which means that the riders can't be too far behind them. And I'm just trying to work out where would be the best spot to get a view of them as they approach. Oh, we have another banner up there, no more gas. So there's our banners, no more gas, frack off. If you haven't heard about fracking, you really want to know a little bit about fracking, go and watch the movie, The Pilliga Project. I saw it just the other day. Really eye-opening. It'll give you some appreciation of how desperate, how dire a situation we're in at the moment. You think it's just one or two wells? Nah. Pilliga Project involves the drilling of 850 wells, and that's just Santos's section. Each well pumps contaminated water into the aquifer to frack. Contamination of water is just another one of the issues around the toxic activities of Santos. And yet here we have an event that is so loved by South Australians being contaminated by association with such toxic activities, with a dying industry, with an industry that's helping the planet die. That's it. We've got green, frack off, green XR banner. What am I wearing? Oh yeah, green. Bit of a gap between the police motorcycles and the first cyclists. Yeah, they'll be doing, I mean, somebody else who knows this better than me will probably correct me, but, you know, 40, 50k an hour is the sort of speed you expect them to be doing. As they go up the hill, they might slow down from 50k an hour to 40k an hour, perhaps. You know, you might think you're going fast on your daily ride, but nothing compared to the speed that these guys are going at. So we're going to keep right back from the edge of the road because we are concerned about safety, the safety of the cyclists, the safety of the police officers who are standing by the side of the road, keeping a watch over us, safety of our own rebels. We call them Extinction Rebellion activists. We call them sometimes conscientious protectors. Or just rebels. Because the corporate power that exists in Australia, the corporate power wielded by Santos in the corridors of Parliament, the lobbyists, they're not concerned about your safety. They're concerned about extracting money while they still can from a dying industry. There's a helicopter overhead and the peloton is approaching. Every single vehicle has the Santos logo on it. Wouldn't it be great? Or at least the Santos name, if not their logo. Oh, he's been dropped off the back of the pack, that one. I don't know whether you can see it in the distance there, the helicopter hovering over the peloton as they go down Hawthorne Road in the direction of Mount Barker. We had an opportunity today to block the race, to stop it in its tracks. We didn't do that here. Our priority is safety. Safety for the cyclists, safety for the organisers, safety for the support crew, safety for police, safety for the Extinction Rebellion activists. When will Santos start thinking about safety?